Hello, this is Frankie from Failsafe Studio. I have here today with me Ur, who came by to work on something very special, and all their gear is still connected in the live rooms, and we thought it would be a great occasion to show their sound and all the secrets behind it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So let's go. I'll show you my setup.
Okay, welcome back, Jacopo. We have a lot of stuff to go through, and so let's start by describing your setup for the Ur band.
Yes, so Ur is a duo. It's me on baritone guitar, synth and vocals, and Nico on drums. So over the years I explored different possibilities in terms of pedals, amps, in order to achieve the fullest spectrum of sound for a duo, for this kind of configuration. And this is what I came up with, and I'm pretty satisfied about the result, because this system with two amps, two guitar amp and a bass amp allow me to have a very rich sound. So maybe I will just begin with the guitar, showing what I use. Is like a Dan Electro baritone guitar, Longhorn, which I bought many years ago. Nothing special about this guitar, it's a pretty cheap guitar. Has this lipstick pickups, like a famous Dan Electro sound. What I do is like I keep it tuned half tone down, a normal baritone guitar, which is a fourth below. So usually it's like B, E, A, etc. I keep it half step below, so B flat, E flat, A flat, and so on, just to go even deeper with the basses. Sometimes I use this trick also with the standard tuning. So with Ur I mostly use baritone guitars. This is another one, also from Dan Electro, which I keep tuned in a different way. Basically it's an open tuning I came up with, which I like very much. It's basically just two notes, so it's like A, D, A, D, D, A, if I'm, yes. So this unison here allow me to have this kind of oud sound. Which is pretty cool, and this I use it just for a few songs which we wrote with this particular tuning.
So, guitars look very sexy and very cool, but I also see a lot of other stuff here. You have 3 cabinets with 3 amps and an incredible pedal board that looks very fun to use. Can you tell us a little bit more about your signal path?
Yes, so from the guitar I go straight into the integrated input of this pedal board. This is from an American brand called Pedalboard. I use it for many years. And I had this new pedal board after my old one from the same brand got stolen, and so I took the opportunity to apply a few modifications. So I integrated 2 inputs on the right side and 3 outputs in the left. This is also a double deck pedal board, which allow me to store even more pedals on the bottom, still remaining kind of compact. With Ur, since it's a duo, I needed to be both a guitar player and a bass player. So I came up with a few tricks, especially using this octave pedal from Boss, the OC5, which is very good because it splits the signal, read the signals of between the lower strings and the upper strings to have the octave reacting and only on the both bottom strings, while I can still play the upper strings as a guitar, for example. And this is pretty cool because then create a very full sound. So all these pedals, I choose them over the years. Sometimes I change them, but I use them out of need. So I was imagining a sound first, and then saying, okay, this I can do it with this configuration or with this pedal. So it's basically a setup that I came up with out of need, out of what I wanted to do with the band and the kind of sound I wanted to have with this band. So with the guitar, I enter in the input 1, which is routed directly into the Boss ES8 switching system, which is the motherboard of all pedal boards that controls everything that happens there. It's like a pretty cool switching system. It's very versatile, and you can assign many different functions to any buttons and allow me to change, for example, from one sound to another radically different without having to do like a crazy dance over the stomp boxes. And also is connected MIDI with some Strymon pedals, which are, for example, echoes or reverb, or this, like for example, this deco tape saturation and double tracker. So via MIDI I can assign different parameters to the effects, or also just switch them on and off. So from the ES8, this ES8 has 8 different loops. Most of them are mono, except the 7 and the 8, which are output stereo. It has a stereo output. From this I go into a stereo echo, this Volante reproduction of a tape machine. And from the tape echo I go into the reverb and into the looper. From the looper I go to the output of the pedal board on the left side with the left-right output, and I go straight into the amps. So the bass signal comes from a volume loop that I created in the Boss ES8, and from there, from the volume output, I go to the bass. And I don't know if this is very orthodox, but works for me, so that I can have 3 different outputs. And the output from the third output goes straight into the bass amp.
I see also another little switch system with tapes and like nomenclature on it, and I'm very curious to know what they do.
Yeah, this actually has nothing to do with the guitar part. It's like for the vocal. It's like foot switch that I keep connected to my vocal effect from TS Helicon, which I don't have right now, but I use it live and allow me to change presets or apply effects or harmony to my vocal when I sing with Ur. Another trick to have even a bigger sound.
To simulate more band members,
exactly,
basically.
Like a choir of different
That's very
singers.
Cool.
No, it's really cool to have it right here, so that since I'm very busy during with Ur, like playing with the left side with the guitar, the right side, right hand with the keyboard, and singing on top. So allow me at least to have everything under control.
This is very cool, but it would be very, very nice if you would give us some example of the interaction with the pedal board, and also to listen to a few of your possibilities in terms of color and sound.
Sure. Yeah, I can show you a few sounds that are the signature sounds of Ur. So basically this is one. Basically is this micro synth here, which I keep connected to the Mobius modulation from Steinman, and I use the filter to filter the sound. Basically, I use just one setup for the micro synth, and I use this for some of our songs. The same pedal, the micro synth, sometimes I use it more in a more open fashion. This has also a stereo modulation that allow me to open some sections of the songs, for example, chorus. This is even wider. Or, for example, so these two are sounds that I use quite a lot. Then this a pretty crunchy tone with the deco, which is like a simulation of tape. And some modulation. This I also use for a yes. This, for example, is another sound that I use in an intro of one of our songs. And the cool thing about the ESA that you can assign to every switch different functions, as I said, via MIDI. So, for example, here I want it pretty clean in the beginning, but then I want more drive to come in as a crescendo. So I assign like a control change. Which allow me to have more drive and to be with the music without having having to do crazy stuff. I just follow. Or I can also apply, for example, like the feedback. So the trail of the echo goes on just by pressing a button. You can do this also in other ways, but this having all under control here is very good for me. What else? I have some very spacey sounds also that are basically just an infinite repetition with a reverb. Which also allow me to do some noise. Yeah, for more soundscapey kind of stuff. From the pedalboard, as I said, many stereos effects go to the left and right amps that I have here. For example, some stereo delays just go straight into the Marshall and the Orange. I also have some other stereo stuff going on, like with the tape echo, for example. Here I have a tape echo configuration. Okay. which ping pong is a ping pong of sounds or repetitions in the left and right side of.
Okay, since we're talking about delays and reverbs and everything that it's about soundstage and stereo stuff, can you walk us through the various amp you have here?
This is like a Marshall reproduction of a Plexi. It's like just 20 watts, but it's really really powerful, and I love the sound. As a Plexi has 2 channels, like one for the like a treble channel and a normal channel, which gives the bottom of the sound. And from to the right side I have orange Rocker Verde 50 watts, and it's great. I'm very happy with these 2 amps, of course. And the bass amp now in the studio I'm using this. My usual amp is like a Fender cabinet with a Fender Rumble 800 watts. But here I'm using this Artke head. Nothing special about the amps, they're just great amps, and I'm really happy with it.
Also because most of the stuff happens there, yeah, and then you want to have...
Yes, exactly. Another thing is that when we rehearse, when we write our new material, we usually work with in-ear monitors. In this case, I use a simulation of amps. For example, now, as you can see here, I'm using the Strymon Iridium for the guitars and this Palmer bass pocket amp for the bass. And everything goes into our little mixer from Zoom, which allow us to record all our ideas and to write new material without miking the amps and in the room.
That's very practical.
Yeah.
And the final bit of your equipment we haven't talked about yet is that other, I assume it's a MIDI controller down there.
Yes, this belongs to the Synths department, and it's like
the Synths department, I like that.
It's like a MIDI controller from Keith Macmillan, which really is a great tool. I used to have 12 steps, which was more like a keyboard, which allowed me to play actual notes with my feet. This is like, also you can assign to each button notes or different functions, like samples. I can launch samples from here. And both this controller and keyboard are governing the main stage software, where I put different instruments like Arturia vintage keyboards, which I like very much, are pretty good, and synthesizers or a sampler machine, and different options. For example, I can show you a few sounds. This we use. These samples, I use it for our song City of Ur, for example. Or I can have a bass synth. So basically with this controller I can actually play different notes with my feet and also with the keyboard. For example, I can have a background of sounds, and then I can just play the keyboard on top. Yeah. Or, as I said, launching samples, for example. Most of these sounds I created myself, and some of the Arturia sounds are in the library, which I also use. a combination of both. Yeah. So basically, this is my setup.
That was very, very interesting.
Cool.
Thank you for guiding through the process.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.